Okay, number sequences. We're going to do some work today with number lines because, again, this is an area that people often find a little bit tricky, working out exactly what numbers go into number lines and how to read number lines. So what number is represented here? Well, you might be able to work it out quite quickly because this is a fairly simple number line. But it's really important we have a strategy for approaching this. So the way to think about it is, what's the difference? What's the gap between 10 and 20? And hopefully we know the answer to that is 10, because we know our number bonds to 20 from year 2. Then how many parts are there on this number line? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 parts. So if I divide by 10, I'm splitting up this number line into 10 equal parts. And I know that the whole is 10. The difference between this number line is worth 10. Split it up into 10 equal parts. 10 divided by 10 is 1. So each part on this number line is worth 1. And that takes me up to the fact that this arrow is pointing at the number 17. So your turn now. Have a go. Do the same thing. So we've got 60 to 70. That's a difference of 10. What are we dividing by? How many parts are there? And then can you work out what the arrow is pointing at? So pause the video, come back when you're done. So again, we can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 equal parts. 10 divided by 10 is 1. So I'm counting in ones. 63, 64. The arrow is pointing at 64. And again, if we just carry on, we should see, oh yeah, it does actually work. It fits all the gaps in the number line correctly. So what happens when the number line doesn't have 10 equal parts? Because I think we're most used to seeing that, partly because when you're back in reception and year 1, you first meet number lines really when you're learning to count from 0 to 10. So what's going on here? Well, again, let's do the same thing. We're going to work out what distance, what gap, what difference is this number line covering. Again, it's a difference of 10. 10 to 20 to 30 is 10. How many parts have I split it up into though this time? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sharing 10, this part of the number line, into 5 parts. Well, 10 divided by 5 is 2. So this time I'm not counting in ones, I'm counting in twos. So if we look, 22, 24, 26, 28, oh yeah, 30. So that means that the arrow is pointing at the number 24. So your turn now, very similar question. Again, think 40 to 50, I've got a difference, a gap of 10. How many parts am I splitting up this line into? What does that mean I'm counting in? And then can I work out the value of the arrow? Pause the video, come back when you're done. Okay, here we go. Well, again, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal parts. 10 divided by 5 is 2, so we're counting in twos. 46, 48, 50. So the arrow is pointing at the number 46. Final example. This time we've got a difference not of 10, but of 100. So to get to 100 to 200 is 100. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. So I'm splitting up my 100 into 4 equal parts. Now, one of the things you just need to know really is that 100 divided by 4 is 25. So we're counting in 25s, 125, 150, 175, 200. So the arrow is pointing at 175. Similar thing here, you have a go. I'm not going to give you so much help this time. Something divided by something, and then work out what you're counting in and what the arrow is going to be. Pause the video, come back when you're done. Okay, so hopefully you've got it. Again, 300 to 400, the difference is 100. So this number line, the value of this number line is 100. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts, which again is 25. So I'm counting in 25s, 325, 350, 375. If you're struggling to count in 25s, really do practice that. 0, 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, etc. Because it's really, really helpful, particularly when you get into year 5 and year 6. And then into secondary school, knowing your 25s, being able to count quickly in 25s, is going to be very helpful when you start looking at fractions and decimals and percentages in a bit more detail. So that's it for this lesson. Go back now to the independent task in your book, see how you get on.